Just when we thought this year could not get any more insane on the information we're getting from CIG, some leaked information came out this week that changes everything about what we think in terms of how CIG is planning to deliver in the next 12 months and really towards the end of this year. Take a look. This is a post that is on Star Citizen Leaks that is from a Reddit post about leaked information about the end of the year and CIG's plans for that. I'm going to go ahead and read what it says. I am taking this with a grain of salt. I think that people are taking this as fact currently. Personally, I'm not so sure, right? Things are always subject to change. This is CIG we're talking about. Of course, I'm excited for progress, but as I'm reading this, remember that this is not coming from the mouths of CIG, but this is coming from like leakers or like people inside the company who are claiming they have this information. So this is from the Star Citizen, the Pipeline Discord, but they got this from Reddit, I believe. Some leaked information about CIG's plan for the end of year going into 2024, according to sources familiar with the plans. Following yesterday's preliminary replication layer split, which, by the way, if you didn't hear, apparently it went really good. The intention is to test the connection between Stanton and Pyro via the jump gates before the end of December on the tech preview channel. It is unclear whether server meshing would be needed for this test, while logic suggests that static meshing would be required for any sort of jump gate. So if you guys don't know what static meshing, it basically means you have a Stanton server and you have a Pyro server, and then the server mesh is going to push you from one server to another while you're in the jump gate or whatever. So that's why people are assuming that you would need static meshing for this. Technology was not mentioned in any of the plans, so this is basically insinuating that there may not be that static mesh for the test. Successful deployment of the replication split, as well as the jump gate tech preview, would pave a way for Pyro release as well as static and dynamic meshing next year. Furthermore, focus is currently being put on Squadron 42 features that have been deploying back in the persistent universe. This is reportedly top priority. Tremendous progress has already been made. They want to continue boosting the progress in the rest of the year and beyond. Work will continue into the new year until they have implemented everything from Squadron 42, with the goal that Q1 contains as many Squadron 42 features as possible. The summary is essentially that the 322 end of year is a quality of life patch, and we're going to look at what's in the 322 in a second, as well as the tech preview channel before the end of the year with Pyro Stanton connection, replication layer split. So if you have access to the tech preview channel, I would keep a lookout for that on your launcher, but who knows if that's going to happen, right? Q1 is going to be the first heavily affected patch by the development changes. This seems really quick to me, personally. I don't know about you guys, but personally, this seems like maybe this is moving a little bit quicker than I was expecting. And so this makes me a little bit hesitant to assume this is correct info. Typically, if it seems too good to be true, it kind of is, right? But again, I hope that I'm wrong. People over on Reddit are just essentially replying to the post saying, Q1 star map update, which would be really incredible. Other people are saying that they're very hyped for this. And to be honest, it seems really hype. But again, we're going to have to just wait and see if it actually comes. But if this all does pan out, this is going to be a really exciting 12 months. I think this is a great way to open up the new year. I think that people in the chat are spamming Copium, and they could not be more correct. It feels like a very Copium post. Again, I am currently believing it's not real. I'm just closing my eyes, plugging my ears, and hoping that either way, I'm either wrong about it and I win, or I'm right about it and I don't let myself down. I'm not trying to overhype myself. This is the 322 patch. If you haven't seen it, they have the hair player update, which is committed. That means that it's probably going to make it. They have tentative, which means may not make it, but this is the new derelict system. I believe, I might be wrong about this. These are like the derelicts we're seeing in Pyro being ported over to Stanton. Could be wrong about that, but that seems it. We have structural, which is the transform large chunks of metal from salvaged ships into refinable material. That's cool. So maybe like a sort of V1 munching is what I'm assuming that is. Another thing, this is like kind of, if you've ever played Siege of Orison, you've seen something like this, but we'll actually be able to use them ourselves, is inventory cargo containers, allowing players to store small items on large cargo containers. Very cool. New Arena Commander map. It's called Bloodshot Ridge, which sounds like Blood Gulch to me. I hope that it has a Blood Gulch feel, because I think that'd be really cool. A little nod towards that. New Arena Commander FPS and flight map that is set in a derelict settlement. That's cool. Arena Commander map, Maker's Point, which is same thing, settlement on Hurston. And then we have the multi-crew and spawn location update. So for a long time, if you go in AC, you can get into a multi-crew ship, but nobody else can join you unless you're in free flight and they EVA over. Supposedly, this changes that. We're going to see. This is a surprise for me. This is a surprise for me if you guys haven't seen. The Santok Ya and the X1 being in 322, that's news to me. I heard that there were leaks, maybe that the Santok Ya was going to make its appearance at the IAE, but clearly that wasn't the case. And, well, I don't know. We might see something more. I'm not actually sure if it's been the Santok Ya day yet. But yeah, the X1 coming, that's cool. I think that this is an easy slam dunk for CIG to get out the door. And it's coming in all three variants, which I don't really know what the difference is. Racing bike, hover bike, and then we have the Force Pathfinder is what it says. So how this is a Pathfinder over this, it just seems like a very small bike, guys. It seems like a very small bike. So I don't know how they're going to fit that much difference into it, but hey, listen, got to buy all 3 LTI tokens. Am I right? Up next, speaking of new stuff coming out, is the RSI Arrastra, which we've already heard about this. We talked this on the last show, but it's officially announced. We weren't sure if we were going to see this at this year, but it's concept. It's not straight to flyable. That's not really a surprise to anyone. I think it looks really cool. If you guys haven't seen this, essentially it's a bigger mining ship, probably around 4 to 6 crew, and it's got a refinery on board. It's got remote turrets for the mining heads, all sorts of stuff. That just makes this a huge upgrade for the mall. However, people are a little bit hesitant to buy it for one reason, and that reason is it's 425 war bond. Does anyone know what it is? What's the price of it when it's not war bond? Can anyone tell me that? What is the non-war bond price? 575 restore credit. So it's a pretty penny for this ship. Now, keep in mind the mole is 315. So I don't know if this is like an outrageous price, but it's definitely higher than people were expecting. A lot of people were throwing out that 475 is what they thought. A lot of people were saying 450. And I think that sounds more reasonable. I think this looks like a really expensive ship, to be honest with you guys. This looks like an expensive ship. This looks like a sub-capital mining ship. I know it's not that, but that's what this looks like. It looks like it could be 150 meters is what I think. I don't know how long it is specifically. It might be close to that long. Is it in the specs how long this bad boy is? Let's see. It does have internal 64 cargo. It's got external 512. It's got 3 size 3 remote. All right, sorry. 3 size 3 remote turret. Oh, okay. 3 size 3 remotes. And then it also has 4 size 3. It holds 2 small vehicles, crew of 5, onboard refinery. Yeah, it's got pretty much everything you need here. It's the size of a hammerhead, which is how long, guys? 124? Okay, it's huge. It's massive. This is a huge ship, guys. This is exactly what I would expect to be like the little brother to the Orion. So I guess the question is, how much do you guys think the Orion's going to be when it comes out? You know, that's the real question. How much is the Orion going to be? And do you think that this ship is worth it? Do you think that this is the mobile citadel, the home away from home, the carrot killer? I mean, mole killer? 1,000. And what do you guys, does anyone know how much the Orion goes for right now? It's 650. So I think that's going to get a significant price increase, especially over the next 12 months, most likely. Yeah, we'll see. But this is like an Orion Mini is what it's supposed to be. And I think the Orion's going to change. If you guys didn't see the ISC, essentially they were talking about the way that they are structuring this ship in preparation for the it's not RSI Orion, right? It's a different ship, Misk Orion. I can't remember, but it's they're structuring it for that ship. Oh, it is RSI. Okay, that's exactly on note then. So it's RSI Orion. They're structuring it for the development of that ship. And so all this tells me is that the Orion's going to look different when it comes out. It's probably going to look very clean. It's going to look really good, and it's probably going to be expensive as hell. We'll see. Up next, I actually don't know. Oh, this is the IAE skins. If you haven't seen, they're selling a pack of all the IAE skins for $50. It's on sale right now for $37. I really have no problem with them doing this. Some people are like, oh, this is weird. I think a lot of people's biggest problem is with the color. I don't know. I think it's fine. I think some people are really going to like this. It's like marbled copper, kind of like a brown tone. I mean, I think it's all right. I'm not going to wear it. I'm not going to buy it, but it looks all right. If I found it in the verse, I might throw it on. Looks good. I'm not a big skin guy, but I have no problem with CIG selling skins. Yeah, it's not a big issue for me. But the bigger drama on the insurance going into the IAE, if you guys haven't heard, the F8C did go back on sale. So if you guys didn't know about the F8C, essentially there was a gold ticket kind of event that happens, and you had to go find these gold tickets in game. There were platinum tickets on CIG devs, and if you got lucky enough, you get on a server and get a free F8C. But then if you got a gold ticket, you go to the website, and they had this limited time event, and everyone was pumped about it, and everyone was rushing to like go get their gold tickets and buy it. And everyone thought there's no way they're ever going to sell this thing again, or at least not until Squadron 42 comes out. And then Anvil Day hits, and what happens? What happens? They put the F8C on sale. Not only with that, but with 10-year insurance. Okay, so here's the drama around it, is that people are saying, first of all, why are you selling it? But second of all, we thought it was supposed to be a limited time event. Why'd you even do the limited time event if you're just going to sell the ship right after without making people do anything? Doesn't make any sense, right? Like, let the special thing be the less special thing. So how insurance worked on the F8C is that if you bought it War Bond during the event, you got LTI. If you bought it store credit, or you couldn't upgrade to it, so only store credit, then you'd get 6-month insurance on it. But you can now buy the F8C with store credit at the IAE with 10-year insurance, which, let's be honest, guys, that's 20 times the insurance. So it's definitely better. People want it. I am of the opinion that personally insurance is not a big deal, and that it's kind of FOMO marketing, and that people are getting, hyped up and mad about nothing. Not to say that they're not right about this, but I think that insurance just isn't as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. I definitely think it's a big deal that CIG kind of did this back tracking where they're like, oh, well, we are going to sell it again, and it is going to have 10-year insurance. That's a little weird. I think to right this situation, they should just give everyone insurance for 10 years who got the ticket at the gold ticket event, right? Is that a no-brainer? They should probably just do that, huh? They should probably just give everyone who got it at the gold ticket event 10 years insurance. Because what they're telling people is they're saying, hey, if you got it at the gold ticket event, we cannot let you upgrade it to the 10-year version. But if you email support, we'll give it to you. Essentially, if you want to trade it out for the 10-year insurance version, email support and we'll give it to you. I'm not going to email support. I don't really care. Personally, I don't think it's a big deal, but people, I think, are rightfully upset about this. It's just not really my wheelhouse because, again, I think insurance isn't a big deal. I don't think it will ever be a big deal. I think that if you can't afford insurance in game, you can't afford to fly the ship, restocking, rearming, repair, all these things are going to cost, I think, more than insurance probably. So, yeah, anyways, that is basically what's concluded on the F8C stuff. And then up next, we have there was an engineering panel this week. If you guys didn't see on ISC, this is just a little screenshot. Again, I took from Pipeline here, where they said at 40 minutes and 11 seconds in, they said they are shooting for Q2 of 2024 for life support, fire, engineering gameplay, repair beam, and everything they showed at the CitizenCon demo, which is crazy. I think this is just as crazy news, in my opinion, as the original Squadron 42 stuff. Because it just feels like this year could be so content dense if they can actually deliver all this stuff. But again, we'll see. I'm holding my breath. I'm not getting too hyped, But we'll see. This could be a really content-dense year. A lot of really exciting things in the work for CIG, guys. This is like, I think, probably the most excited I've ever been about the game. Like, even when I first started playing, I've never been this excited for an upcoming year in Star Citizen. Man, I really hope they follow through. Let's see. Up next is the Star Engine demo came out in 4K on YouTube, not just the 1080 one you saw at YouTube. They also changed some stuff. Some people are upset because there's, I think, a cut in it. I don't think it matters. I think the whole point behind like the seamless one shot argument that CIG is trying to push is it's all in engine, which it is. I don't think there's anything like fishy going on here. I don't think they're doing anything mischievous. I don't think that they're trying to like fool people. All this stuff is in engine. Now, some of it's not in engine yet, or like in our hands yet, but I really don't think they're trying to deceive people here and make the engine look better than it is. I think that really what's happening here is that they're just showing off their newest and best stuff, and hopefully that stuff is going to be in our hands soon. Now, if this stuff doesn't get in our hands, and like, let's say the next 18 to 24 months, that'd be a huge problem, I think. But again, it's like, we're just going to have to see how CIG rolls this stuff out and delivers in the next 18 to 24 months. That's what my more realistic timeline is versus the timeline CIG gave at CitizenCon, which is 12 months. But I mean, we could pull it up. I don't know if anyone has a link to the Star Engine thing, but there's a pretty obvious cut. There's a pretty obvious cut, I think, at the beginning, if someone wants to pull that up. And you can pull that up while we're talking about the SRV thing, which is a little bit of drama. It's not a big deal. Again, I'm not losing any sleep over it. But the SRV currently, this is like the low effort bug of the patch. You can currently make 250K in like 3 minutes by doing the salvage missions that have the hammerheads, and you can use the SRV to tow it away. And people are saying, well, it's in the description. You're supposed to be able to tow it away. But what I'm imagining CIG is saying is you're supposed to QT away with it. And in my opinion, if they're going to add in SRV missions, what they should be doing is making it where you have to tow someone to a location and then drop it off, like Brio's Breaker Yard. Like, hey, we need you to like go scrap the ship at Brio's before anyone else finds it, blah, blah, blah. Go drop it off there. That makes a lot more sense. And the other thing is, if you guys don't know, the SRV is actually not supposed to be able to tow anything in QT bigger than a Connie. So it actually needs an additional SRV to QT with, I think it's 3 with the hammerhead, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. But I don't think this is a big deal. I do think that CIG is going to fix it. I don't think you should get used to this gameplay. CIG is not intending for you to make 250K every 3 minutes, guys. It's just not happening. Like, that's not part of CIG's plan. It's a really weird, goofy thing. But the Star Engine demo, nobody linked it, but that's totally fine. Yeah, it's not a big deal. So, guys, at this point in the show, we are going to be taking callers. If anyone wants to hop into Discord, !Discord, you can jump into the call. That is, okay, we got Taylor in first. It's just called HTL Waiting Room. I will rename these for you guys. A little bit of, it's been a crazy couple of weeks with CitizenCon and traveling in the holidays. But if anyone wants to jump in after Taylor, just jump into the waiting room, HTL Waiting Room in Discord, and I'll pull you in. All right, hold on a second. Get switched over here. Hello?
Hello?
Yo, Taylor, what's up, dude?
Hello, Berks. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing good. Well, you got a question for me? Sorry, I'm typing your name out here.
Yeah, I got 2 topics that I would like to talk about. The first one could be the RSI Arrastra. I'm a big industrial player. Like, I'm an unpaid paid actor, you know, like paper plane, but Jam is the industrial thing, like mining and salvaging. And the RSI Arrastra is looking very sexy, honestly, and my wallet is looking at me really weird. So I already like locked the price with a CCU, but my question is, the RSI Arrastra sits between the Orion and the Mole. The Mole is for like planetary mining and little asteroids, and the Orion is this big mining platform which is supposed to mine like huge asteroids. So I wonder if the Arrastra is going to be just a bigger mole that the only thing that we'll be able to do is mine these little rocks, maybe a little bit easier. Like you need for a 60k rock, you need maybe 2 moles. So maybe for the Arrastra is with just one laser, you can do that thing. You can mine those rocks, but it will also be able to do the Orion gameplay, which is mining huge asteroids. Okay, not very, very huge, but like already like the smaller ones that the Orion could do.
Okay. So like
from the mole thing.
Yeah. So I mean, this definitely has a home, I feel like. Like I don't feel like this ship is out of place. But it's like, I guess like for me, it's like if you're on a mole crew and you have like, let's say 3 or 4 people, well, this thing, I think it's max crew. It's like saying 4 to 6. So if you have a fully crewed out mole and one of you guys has this ship, why not just like jump in that instead? I guess like the only reason you wouldn't is if you don't have it yet, right? So,
right.
But the thing is like, I'm imagining 1 or 2 of these lasers could probably take on the same job that a mole could by itself.
Yeah, that's what I suspect.
So I don't necessarily, and the thing is like, I don't really necessarily think this is bad, right? For them to have like ships that are close to each other or like better than each other. That's not really bad. It just like, I think it just came as a surprise. I think that they could make some improvements to the mole that would make it better. For now, like they can make it where it filters. Someone said earlier, it wasn't my idea, that it filters out more inert material than the prospector does. That's a good idea. I don't know. Maybe the more people you have on turrets in the mole, the more it filters.
Yeah, I think the default filter is 40% on size 2 mining lasers and 30% on size 1 mining lasers, which is the prospector. And the Arrastra has supposedly size 3 mining lasers. So
yeah, but I could definitely see people using this instead of the Orion, right? Like they're like, oh, we don't have a crew enough for the Orion, but we do have a crew for the Arrastra. Like this seems like a proper fit for that. And someone said the mole is obsolete if you can afford the big brother. I mean, totally agree, Gecko. I think that that is kind of what this does. It makes it obsolete. So I don't know. I think 550 is a little pricey. I don't think we're going to see a lot of people in this right away.
I think for me it's a fair price, honestly.
Really?
Like looking at the size of the ship and what its capabilities are, I think it's a good price, honestly. Like it's hammerhead size, 5 crew, it's got the refinery and lots of cargo, the 3 mining lasers, lots of weaponry. It's got 3 turrets with 4 size 3 lasers, so it can defend itself, not like the mole. So for me, like when I first saw the concept in the ISC, I immediately thought this is going to be a $600 ship. And I think it's a fair price.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna fight. I think the price is whatever. I think that it's like, it seems like a subcapital mining ship to me, like almost, like not quite, but almost. And so maybe it's a little bigger when it comes out to who knows, but yeah, I think overall, I think it looks really cool. I think that we're not going to see a lot of people. It's not going to break records in terms of sales. But I think maybe it would have if it was around the 450 price. I think people would have loved this. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think you're going to pick one up?
I already locked the price with a CCU from the Arrastra to the M2, so I'm all into the Arrastra, bro. I want it.
Nice, dude. Nice.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I think Astra mining is probably the coolest kind of mining. I'm excited to see it evolve a little bit more. Because I think it could get a lot cooler. But did you say you had one more thing that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. So if you don't know, that like CIG posted only just one picture on their Instagram. Yesterday there was a bar citizen here in my city in Madrid, and I assisted. I went to it, and there was a guy working, a CIG dev, working in the networking team. Okay, so his boss is this guy that did the live demo of server meshing. So, and I asked him a lot of questions about the replication layer, server meshing, and like to corroborate the leaks they were really excited and I think very positive that static server meshing is going to come out by next year. And it was pretty exciting to hear it from the guy.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think that we definitely have heard, by the way, though, some things slip at Bar Citizens before that haven't made it, right?
True.
So it's just the thing is like, I think that guy, he's got his hands deep in it. He's being optimistic, but I'm excited for him. We'll see though. Next year seems possible. It doesn't seem impossible.
I asked him if it's going to be another 318, and like he laughed it off, and he said he wishes that it won't be another 318.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, dude. Well, thanks for coming on. You got anything else?
Thank you for having me. Nope.
All right, yo, GG's, dude.
GG's, Berks.
Yo, Taylor. Yo, Retire Dino? Is that how you say it? Am I getting that right?
Oh, okay, I forgot that. And then I changed the name because of the Discord.
Oh, is this Tumblr?
Yes, sir.
Oh, what's up, dude? How you doing, man?
So you I heard a lot of talk with the Arrastra, right, and the Orion. You said you think the price is too high and it's too steep for what it is, right?
I mean, the thing is like, I'm not a big miner, right? So it's like, I sort of like am like, oh man, it kind of seems pricey, but then also it's like, what do people expect? Because like other ships that do similar things are kind of equally priced. Like I see this as almost like the Perseus of like mining, right? And the Perseus is about the same price. I'd say it's like 575 or somewhere around there.
So let's put the figures together, right? We have 3 lasers as a mole, right? Which would fixture around 350 euros, something along those lines, right? And then we would have a mobile refinery, which is the expanse for 125. That will come to a total of 450. Now, coupled to that, the ability of carrying almost as much cargo as a C2, which what's the price for it?
The C2? I don't know actually off the top of my head what the C2 is.
I wouldn't know, but I would pretty much assume that will put the price above to what is currently marketed right now.
I guess that's true, yeah, because like you get the cargo and also the mining capabilities. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
Exactly. Now, I'm not counting the guns. I'm not counting the turrets because it's for defense. It has a lot of guns for the ship it is, but it will maneuver the same as a Hammerhead, so I wouldn't expect you to be employing them effectively. But I can see people doing cargo runs with it and mining.
Yeah, totally. So and like, this is the ship I kind of like this. So in my opinion, I've talked about this in the past. Industrial ships should not have guns, right? Is what I've said in the past. However, I do really like this mix where this ship feels like it's supposed to be in like asteroid belts and stuff in deep space and protect itself. I think this feels a lot more like this could be like a good mix between the two, because it feels like you could make this a combat ship a little bit.
Almost.
It depends on how it flies, obviously, but it feels like it's going to be able to defend itself. It's not going to be an easy target, and I like that. Where I would like to see them put the gameplay for ships like this is like in Pyro, in the coil, in like dangerous places where like you can go to like asteroid mine is where this thing is going to live, because it can handle it. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah. So regarding the cargo itself, I see some people saying that the 500 is for exterior mining bags. We don't know that. If that's the case, even then, that's a lot of material you can have.
Yeah,
let's not forget that it's mine and go sell immediately.
They made it seem like an ISC that you could carry more than just mining bags on that stuff. Is the way that they phrased it, but I could be wrong. I don't think that we know yet, but I could be wrong.
Until they give us confirmation with the Q&A, I wouldn't really put my money into anything.
Yeah, that'll be a good question for the Q&A though.
It's a very, very versatile ship. Now, it begs the question, and this is something that a lot of people are disregarding: the crew requirements. So, off the top of the head, we know that the crew requirements for the Arrastra are between minimum crew of 2 and maximum crew of 5, correct?
Right.
So, the Orion has a minimum requirement of 4 and maximum requirements of 7. So, it's not that much a big of a difference for the size difference.
Right, but I personally feel like this ship is going to catapult the Orion up a little bit, is what I think.
Oh, no. The Orion in price, you mean?
Oh, I just mean in its how the crew is handled.
Oh, yeah, most likely. And here's another thing. I've been debating this since yesterday with a lot of our folks. We don't know if capital ships are going to remain in game. So if you're going to run around with your Orion and the ship doesn't despawn when you log out,
True.
It's going to be a very
That's what they've said,
issue.
right? They've said capital ships are supposed to persist, but
exactly.
we just don't know yet, right?
We don't know, but if that's where the intent to go, well, we have a hint, but if that's the way they want to go, the Orion is going to be a heavy risk to run around, while the Arrastra leaves you more safe and versatile to do whatever you want. Go to Atmo, go to asteroid buyouts, able to log off, yada, 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 yada.
Yeah, totally.
So it's a lot more versatile than the Orion currently is, and the Orion is going to be a way of a bigger target because don't forget, scanning comes around, that ship is going to be easy to find.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, which is why it needs to be able to defend itself, right? So,
yes.
And I would be okay with like there being ships that are like this industrial that can't defend themselves. I'd be okay with that. But it's just like, I think that it's cool to have like some different, like the Orion feels like it should probably have less defense than this thing. And I only say that because the Orion feels like it should have a, like a, an escort with it is what it feels like it should have.
It's an orc ship.
Yeah, it's an orc ship. So this feels like a miniature, like a group ship where you could do like 3 to 5 or 6 maybe even pretty easily. And then the Orion feels like it's going to be more of like orc gameplay is what I'm hoping. And I hope the same thing for like the whole E, for example. It kind of flies the same way or like kind of operates the same way as you need a whole crew like an orc to do it. So we'll see though.
Because this whole debate kind of puts another thing in the background, which a lot of people again haven't talked that much, is the punishments for you carrying a capital ship around rather than a smaller vessel, even if the crew requirements are the same.
Right. But totally.
That's another whole different issue in of itself together. The other thing I kind of wanted to address is the secondary effects that the SRV towings is having.
Okay.
We know that it's a lot of easy money to make, right? And we all agree on that.
Of course.
That you should be able to QT with the away with the ship, even from the physical grid of the planet, to be mission accomplished. But I do like the amount of bounty hunting you can do chasing those people around.
It's hard, dude. I've been chasing people just because like they get the CS3 and then they go to Grim and pay it off. You know?
That's true, but most of them are lazy enough to keep doing it from back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Now it's hard for you to have to triangulate to get to their specific position with the snare pre-charged.
Yeah.
But you can do it.
Yeah. No, totally. It's just like, I guess I had bad luck. I had like 5 in a row that I couldn't catch. Just because they literally, as I'm approaching them with the snare, they QT to Grim, they go land, and then it's game over, right?
You need to be next to orbital markers. You can QT and use them to cut your quantum be ready the moment they jump. It's very small window, but you can do it. But that's what makes it fun.
Oh yeah. No, totally. It's like I'm just saying, like it just happened to be like as I was approaching them, they QT away. Like I was QT cutting on them, but it was just they happened to. I just maybe had some bad luck with it, but
perhaps.
Yeah,
it is hard. That we can agree on. It's definitely hard for sure. Even for the most experienced Mantis pilots, I would agree it's too hard until we have quantum boosting, which might change the thing just a smudge bit.
But I will say I'm not really losing any sleep over it, considering the fact that this is probably going to get changed. Now, what I could agree on with you is I think this exact mission, but you have to take the ship to a destination for 250K could work. Like you drop it off at Brios is what people in chat were saying. I think that's a fantastic idea.
That's true. But then again, it gives us another problem. Imagine this. You have to quantum a hammerhead over to Brios, like you said, which is, I think, is a great idea. Like I only thought about exiting the physical grid of the planet, but going to Brios is actually good. But With the current mechanic that we have in game, it takes a lot more SRVs for the money that you're doing. It actually 250 is a lot less than the amount of SRVs you need to move a hammerhead around, even in quantum.
I think that we talked about having a volume limit or not. I kind of changed my stance on this a little bit. I think the volume limit should stay on the SRV. So like you can't like tow I don't know if an SRV should be able to tow a 890, right? But if you're in space, I feel like you should be able to tow like a hammerhead. But
no, you should.
If you try to bring that thing into atmosphere, it's going to plummet, right?
But
like,
it does. But it
no,
does.
No. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Is like you right now don't have the option to QT, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying you should be able to use it in space very delicately. But I think a hammerhead should be like the top end for one SRV, right? Like that should be the most.
That's the thing. It's in 0G, if they follow the logic they've been putting so far, it's acceleration limited, not really volume as well, but mostly acceleration limited, which means you can only accelerate at X rates depending on the size of the ship. But when it comes to gravity, like you said, whole different thing. In fact, if you're attached to a hammerhead, when you start falling in atmosphere, it's going to drag you with it as long as you're attached.
Yep. I just like in my head, I was like volume limits probably actually okay. So like people can't try to SRV like a Bengal, you know, like they probably shouldn't be able to do that, right? Like, because then where does it end? Can you like tow stations? You know what I mean? So like I'm okay with like there being an upward limit, but it should probably be a little higher than it is now.
Right. But what I have most concerned about is two things. First, CIG hasn't confirmed or denied that the SRV is entry vehicle for the profession to begin with.
True.
And we don't know if a big vehicle is coming out. And if it doesn't, then the current QT towing for the vehicle is too low.
Seems to me like they're planning on releasing another vehicle.
It seems to me the same as well. The problem is we have no information regarding this. We have no communication from CIG or their intents regarding this.
Yeah.
And this what concerns me a lot, because we have no way of towing big ships around, and that should be the case, right? Like you care more about your big ships than small ships when you want to save them with cargo or whatever.
Totally.
And even pirates as well. Like the big ship is a lot more precious for you for insurance money, which is not that meh.
Totally.
Claim time for sure. And if you lose components in the future, definitely the components as well.
Right. Cool, dude.
But then again,
I mean, I feel like we're pretty much on the same page with most of this. It just needs a little bit more love. But we'll see definitely. Like if they actually release a new vehicle or if it's not the entry vehicle. But you got anything else for me, dude?
No, that's pretty much it.
Cool.
I think you have a lot of people waiting already, so it's time for me to cut me short.
Nah, it's all good, bro. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right. That was Tumblr, guys. Yo, real quick before we move on. Yo, Becky, thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. I hope the stream was good. What up? We're doing a little podcast right now, so my apologies for not responding right away. Hope the stream was good. All right, we got our last caller coming in right now, guys. It's D-Rack. Yo, D-Rack, what's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself? What do you got? What do you want to talk about?
Mostly just the community's reactions to exploits. Like the discussion of them always seems to go poorly.
Making sure I'm spelling your name right. It's D-R.
Yeah,
I know there's like an E and a 3 in it or something.
And then an EA.
Okay. DR number.
Yeah, so it's. Oh, there's an A and a C.
A, C, okay. Okay. Like that. There we go. All right, close enough. Right? Is that it? Did I get it? Yo, did I get it? Is that it?
An A at the end.
Oh, and an A at the end. Okay. Cool. All right, cool. All right, dude. Yeah, well, all right, exploits. So I'm assuming you want to talk about the SRV thing. What's going on?
Yeah, well, it's just like, it's frustrating when people see that you can make a broken amount of money and they want to defend it as like, well, it's CIG throwing us a bone, or I'm doing this because there's going to be wipes. And you're like, there are wipes because there's an uncontrolled amount of money.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's like typically like when a uncontrolled amount of money enters the universe, that's typically when we get a wipe right after. And so I don't think this is like a massive game breaking deal, but I do think that it's just like, it's funny that it just seems like this flavor of this patch is like easy money making thing. I think most people at the moment wouldn't mind a wipe. I see it's pretty, like, just real quick poll, guys. One in chat if you would not mind a wipe this next patch. One in chat. And if you do want to wipe or don't want to wipe, then just hold on. Okay, a lot of ones in chat. You guys can see the chat going up. A lot of ones. Okay. So 2 in chat if you would be mad if there was a wipe. 2 in chat if you would be mad. Seems like not as many people. And I'm not saying that y'all's opinion doesn't matter. I'm saying it's just like, it seems like most people are currently pretty okay with a wipe. Duping was definitely worse than this, 100%. I completely agree with that, 100%. But yeah, I agree with you for the most part, D-Rack. I think that people just tend to overreact when it comes to this stuff. On both sides, to be fair.
Yeah, and I just wish if a person goes like, this is a broken amount of money, and there's no real counter to it, like, that breaks gameplay.
Yeah. It's, the thing is like, I am usually not as like against, not exploits, but I'm typically like what I'm trying to say is typically money making exploits cause gameplay, right? Like there's piracy involved, or there's like gameplay involved, or there's logistics involved. This one just like helps the solo player with an SRV, and that's fine. But it's gonna get fixed. Yeah, like the Lyranite bug, like or like when like contraband trading was big, right? Like those all helped the community get more gameplay. This one kind of doesn't. I know that Tumblr said the bounty hunting thing, and I sort of agree. Just for like the most part, it's not generating like dynamic gameplay.
Yeah, and I don't think it's like CIG has to get rid of it. They just could tune this to be better. Like, one, you shouldn't be getting finable offenses if you happen to be grabbing salvaged ships.
Yeah, that seems weird.
Because that was the lame part where, like, you have these people who are doing bounties, or they would accrue bounties, and then you couldn't track them fast enough.
Yeah. So interesting. Yeah, it's really just not that big of a deal, if you ask me. Like, this is like,
yeah, this particular exploit's not bad. Yeah, it's just, I wish the community.
It's pretty tame. And I was just reading what someone was saying in chat, how they said they made 100 mil from ERT drug trading. Yeah, and like that's the other thing is like, people were saying that the price or the Wake of Disaster and like the cargo that was on board ships was totally fine and didn't need to get nerfed. But listen, guys, one missile should not equal 8 million in cargo. You know, it's like, that needs to get toned down. I would love to see like derelict ships with that much on board, but it should be harder to find them, maybe rarer to find them. Maybe you come across them randomly while scanning. Maybe there's like, they spawn randomly in the universe and you have to like, you know, find them through a mission or like clues, or I don't know, something like that. Like create some sort of like scanning gameplay to get to them. Would be really cool. Yeah, it should feel
like a lottery that like you got an extra bonus. Whereas like with the salvage stuff, like that was the meta. You just brought a cargo ship. You never salvaged the ships.
Imagine that it was a random chance, kind of like the raids that you get on the service beacons, where it's like, oh, this is a raid, you know, you're being attacked instead of helping someone. Maybe every once in a while you get to the mission a little too late and there's like an abandoned ship that's been you know, that has a distress beacon of some sort, and they want you to like come save them, but it's actually loaded with cargo. So is it a trap? Are there people on board? Do they like have cargo? Are you gonna have to scan them and figure out like what's on board? Are there any life signs? Like this is all stuff that makes a little bit more sense in that realm of like finding cargo like that, I think.
Yeah, and then you could also have like a variable response to security, not that they show up at the precise time, like maybe they show up ahead of time.
Yeah. It's interesting, but yeah, we're just gonna have to see. I think that anyone that is like looking at this logically is pretty much on that, of that opinion, I think. But I think that people just like, you know, sometimes they're like, oh, it's an alpha, just let me make my money. Like, let me do my multi-million-dollar like AUEC farm. And I totally understand that take for sure. But at the end of the day, we have to balance the game for what it's going to be like when it's finished, not today. Otherwise, we're never going to finish the game, right? So
yeah, and then also like these exploits are like the go-to for
I like that idea,
real
Luna.
money traders, right?
Maybe it's a trap ship. Yeah, exactly. So the most valuable cargo in the game should not be accessible by going and doing an ERT, right? Like, I think that pretty much everyone is of that opinion.
Yeah, there should be a chance to have it be contested if it's valuable.
Yeah, like Wake of Disaster, but I think that's exactly what Wake of Disaster is. That's so funny that I just described that. But yeah, it just maybe a little more dynamic. But I think Wake of Disaster maybe is a little bit too stiff in the terms of like it's not random. And it's also like not the best right now. So it's like, who knows if people are going to want to do it once they tone down the ERTs. I don't know. We'll see. I think that
I
people...
wish Wake of Disaster like signaled to you that someone else was already on their way.
I think
like
that...
the whole anti-system, like the more you pay in to take Wake of Disaster, the more likely of cargo you'll find.
Yes, we talked about this, like a tier system. It's like you could pay $250 to get in, and that means like there's going to be good cargo. 200 would be like 50-50, and then 150 or 100 would be like, you're probably going to make your money back, but it's not going to be that good. Yeah. Wake should have waves of pirate NPCs. That's also a good idea. I think there's some interesting ideas here in chat. But man, I think that CIG's head is moving in the right direction. We're just going to have to see if we can get something that I think feels a little bit more organic to Star Citizen. Wake doesn't feel like it quite fits yet. And I think the main reason for that is component salvaging is kind of useless at the moment. So people, the coolest part about Wake, which was disassembling the ship and its components, is currently not in, right? Because you can sell them for pennies. But you got anything else for me, D-Rec?
No, this is mostly just the general community reaction to exploits.
Cool. All right, dude. Well, thanks for joining. I mean, I pretty much agree with you. I think good points for sure.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks for coming on, man.
All right, bye.
All right, guys, that was D-Rack. So, thank you guys so much for joining us today for this episode of Citizen Talk. Squadron 42 stuff to highlight, engineering stuff on the way. Q2, they said. Squadron 42 Q1 potentially is what we're going to get some of the features from Squadron, not the release. Don't quote me on the release coming out. And I don't know. It's this has been a fun show. I've really been enjoying mixing this up with you guys, and I appreciate you guys coming on. Don't be afraid to jump in the call if you guys have an opinion on something and want to talk. You don't have to speak perfectly. You don't have to, agree with me. That's totally fine. I'm totally okay with people disagreeing with me. And I think the funnest part about doing this show is just getting to talk to you guys. It's like rare that I get to hear y'all's voice and can like talk to you guys. So the more we get to do this, I think the better. I think this is really cool. We'll keep on doing this thing. But thank you guys so much for joining us this week for Citizen Talk. I'll see you guys next week. And this is Berks signing off.